Hi, everybody. So this is going to be a very short live stream. This is basically a follow-up from my last live stream. There's some thoughts that I had last night about an actual solution because nobody else is actually coming up with real solutions to address this problem. And I think that this one is actually pretty good. It can obviously be tweaked, but this is me just brainstorming and basically trying to get some feedback. So, I talked to you all about how the demand for reparations has to come from a sovereign. I've also talked to you about how I advocate for tribal sovereignty over cash payments. And finally, I've also stated that the white majority is never going to support reparations because it's not in their rational self interest. So I found a solution that is going to satisfy everyone, including the most virulent anti Adamic white nationalists. So I told you all that reparations are not supposed to be charity. It's not supposed to be altruistic. In order to get reparations, the Black community has to have something to offer that is beneficial to the sovereign. The Black community needs to have something to offer which is economically beneficial. So I was trying to figure out what service can a Black community offer to the sovereign and to the white majority that is not currently being fulfilled. The answer is securing the border. This is the one job that is essential for the economy, which is not currently being taken. So, the proposal that I have is to give descendants of slaves tribal sovereignty over land, which encompasses the American Mexican border. This is not going to be a hard sell because that land is not the most coveted land. It's very hot. It's not really ideal for growing crops, but it can be turned into something prosperous. Once sovereignty is established, the ADOS tribal nations can be put in charge of securing the border. What's more, there can be massive funding put into securing the border, which would directly benefit the American descendants of slaves. The American descendants of slaves can use this money to rebuild Black Wall Street and also establish trade with those along the Mexican border. The best way to help these people is not to simply absorb them into the American economy. Conversely, the best way to help them is to establish trade, which will help to stimulate their economy so that they can remain in their homelands. The first step in getting this accomplished is through Pan-Africanism. The American descendants of slaves would need to go to the African Union and convince them to go on board. The way to get the African Union on board is by weaponizing their ignorance and homophobia. You give them a sob story about how the Western influence is trying to push homosexuality on their children, force little boys to wear dresses. Then you tell them that America has moved away from traditional Christian values, and there's an imminent need for Blacks to move away from Western influence and establish tribal sovereignty. So they're going to eat this up because they're already homophobic and they already feel that America has too much influence on them. So this is the manufactured consent that they're going to buy into. By the way, I'm not saying that I promote this. I'm saying this is about strategy. This is about what works. I'm not saying that you should disenfranchise gay people, but this is what you can sell to them to get them to get on board. So their ignorance and homophobia is going to be enough to bring them to the table. However, to keep them at the table, you're also going to need to provide them with jobs. So you promise to accept some of their migrants into these tribal nations to help secure the border. And you also give these African nations some influence within the tribal nations. As to the white nationalists, they're also going to be satisfied because they will be able to use Blacks to do their dirty work. As long as you keep the Africans from migrating into the American interior, they're not going to have a problem with this. So what the white majority gets is a closed border, and what the American descendants of slaves get is tribal sovereignty and funding to rebuild Black Wall Street. Literally everyone would support this proposal except those who want to continue exploiting migrants for cheap labor, and those people are in a minority. So, like I said, this live stream is going to be really short. Um, I don't expect anybody to listen to it right now, but for those of you who just came in, just let me know what your comments are, and then I'm going to be updating this as I get more thoughts. But this I know this solution would work because nobody's trying to secure the border, and if you gave it to us and you gave us funding, that would really fix all the problems. Somebody else just came in. Just go back and listen to this live stream from the beginning. I just came up with a foolproof solution that is going to satisfy everybody. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I think I have more content that I'm going to be doing either tonight or tomorrow.